the Night Stalker, aka Richard Ramirez. Richard was born on February 26, 1960 in El Paso, Texas. He grew up in a big family in which he was the youngest out of 5 children. The majority of his adulthood, he was committing crimes, and he was in and out of jail. His traumatic childhood is believed to have had a strong influence on his crimes. Richard was constantly abused by his father, but that was not even the worst of what had happened to him. When he was 12, his cousin Miguel, who was a Vietnam War veteran, showed him pictures of Vietnamese women that he raped, tortured, and killed when he was in Vietnam. A year after that, he witnessed Miguel shooting and killing his wife. Several years later, he had dropped out of high school and moved to LA. This is where most of his crimes were committed. Richard's first known murder victim was 79-year-old Jenny Vinco. He raped and repeatedly stabbed her while she was asleep in her bed. Her throat was cut so deeply, she was nearly decapitated. Anyone who was lucky enough to survive would be either severely beaten or sexually assaulted. Richard proved to be a relentless killer, as he murdered and raped regardless of age or gender. He went on to murder and rape many others before he was finally caught. On May 29, 1985, Richard claimed his last victims, 83-year-old Mabel Mabel and her disabled sister, 81-year-old Florence Nettie Lang. They were both brutally murdered and raped. Richard's murder spree finally came to an end when 13-year-old James Romero saw Richard attempting to break into his family's home. James ran inside to alert everyone in the house, and they called 911. Richard stole a car, and as he drove away, James took the license plate number, and the police tracked the car down and took fingerprint evidence from the car. This would help the police trace Ramirez's dental records to identify him. Shortly after, he was captured and nearly killed by a mob. When all the smoke settled, Richard was charged with 13 counts of murder, 5 counts of attempted murder, and 11 counts of sexual assault. Psychiatrist Michael H. Stone claimed that he was not a born psychopath. He was made into one due to his traumatic childhood. Dr. Stone believes Ramirez had a schizoid personality disorder, which contributed to his indifference to the suffering of his victims and his untreatability. He was sentenced to 19 life sentences, which is more than 500 years. Ramirez died of complications secondary to B-cell lymphoma at Martin General Hospital in Green Bay, California on June 7, 2013, finally putting an end to the Night Stalker.